and being accepting of my limitations and being accepting of my strengths, trying to be gentle with myself and trying to do the best then with what I have, than on a daily basis.
So true inner peace for me has been doing things that I love, by simply doing things that I enjoy, operating on my own time, creating my own life, like doing things that make sense to me in my life. Like that's what gives me peace.
Love yourself. Accept your wrongs, accept your rights, accept your things that you don't like about yourself. Love yourself, because the minute you accept you and you start worrying about you and you love you, everything is going to start changing around you.
Like, even if, Miley Cyrus, I can buy myself flowers, like literally that type of thing.
Yeah.
You can, and I will.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah.
And $3.99 at Trader Joe's. Okay, we got a little petite bouquet.
Sunflowers.
So, sunflowers are my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunflowers.
So I just they say like take yourself on a date.
So for me, my personal experience with the liberation part is just really tapping into who I am. And when I tapped into who I was, I then discovered who I was not.
Yeah.
Like I love that. And I also feel like the greatest imprisonment is that of our minds.
It is.
And if you cannot free your mind.
Yes, free your mind.
Baby, you're not going to be able to get through anything.
None of it.
I say this a lot, and I think that one of the most powerful people that you can know in this life is yourself. So if you haven't gotten to know yourself and you haven't taken that time to try to get to know yourself, or maybe you've been in a bad spot for a long time, you really need to take that time to learn yourself again.
Inner peace is attainment. It is actually self-actualization, finding myself, knowing who I am, and regardless of my outside circumstances, being calm in a storm.
And there is nothing that can separate me from the love of God. And so I find peace in that. Yeah. I find peace in knowing that everything is going to be all right. No matter what it is, everything is going to be all right.
Hi, welcome to C Notes. I'm Sierra, the founder and host of C Notes. Today's episode is money can buy happiness, but can it buy peace? The thing I hear the most almost every single day is, I just want to be happy. And here's the thing. Happiness is an emotion. It's fleeting. It comes and goes. And we weren't created to be happy. I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep saying it. It's in my book. And the easiest way to explain it, I feel like, is if a loved one passed away, you wouldn't want to be happy, but you do want to be at peace. Peace in knowing you said everything you needed to say. Peace in knowing you have no regrets. And those two things don't equate. But of course, that cliche really goes, money can't buy happiness, because it can't buy it forever, but it can buy it temporarily, momentarily. I know, because I got distracted by it. You can have the car, the clothes, the house, and still not feel at home, because happiness is loud, but peace, baby, peace is quiet. And in a world that constantly is telling us to hustle harder, that hustle culture, to chase the next goal, to chase the bag, to, the next title, the next bag, the next big thing. I don't know. But we're always chasing healing, chasing peace. I'm just reading my book, okay? No, but we don't talk about the cost. I've been reflecting on how many of us are running this rat race. I'm telling you, full of cliches, this life thing. But not really living, running to fix something that money was never meant to heal, which gets me into our first song of today. Beyonce, Break My Soul.
Not just quit my job. I'm gonna find no drive. Damn, they work me so damn.
I remember the moment I was clocking into to work, and the job was amazing. It was everything a lot of people I know would hope would have to have, or just to work. And I don't know, it was just killing me inside because I was like, this is not the life I want. I feel like I really wasn't present with my kids. I know I wasn't present with myself. I was drained, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally. Smiling for a check, crying in the car. Man, that car is therapy. I'm telling y'all, I be reflecting so much in the car. But I wasn't living. I was performing. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I just kept saying, this is what adults got to do. This is what adults got to do. Until I realized this just can't be real. This can't be life. And here's the truth. We don't say enough. You can lose yourself chasing a lifestyle. You can bankrupt your peace trying to look successful. And you can buy happiness, but you can't afford peace living that way, because peace isn't for sale. It's earned through alignment. It's protected through boundaries. It's nurtured by truth. I had to ask myself, what am I really chasing? Validation, comfort, or freedom? Because money can buy a lot of things, but it can't untrigger you. It can't reconnect you to your spirit. It can't hold you when you're overwhelmed. It can't reparent your inner child. Well, I don't know. It can kind of reparent your inner child a little bit through experiencing things that you wanted to experience as a child, because I did. I went to every concert, comedy show, game show, anything I wanted to experience, anything I wanted to buy as a child. I did it, but it's deeper than that. And sometimes the more we chase, the more we lose ourselves. And peace asks different questions like, do I feel safe in my body? Do I like who I am in quiet moments? Do I feel connected to God in my life? That's why today's episode isn't about financial literacy, because that's all y'all want to know about. How can I get some money and get it tomorrow? And if I can get it today, let's get it today. It's about emotional wealth to me. And that's what this episode is about. Because real currency in life is peace. But let's get into these conversations.
Inner peace, inner
Okay,
peace.
inner peace, let's do it.
Inner peace. What does inner peace look like to you?
I had that little sigh, that little but just because I feel like I have found inner peace personally. It's been a long time coming, but I feel like I've finally gotten there. And I guess inner peace to me is just I know who I am. I know I have good intentions. I know that I'm a light. And also a big part of peace is fully accepting yourself. So a hard thing for me was my sexuality, because I was growing up taught that my attraction to women was wrong. So a lot of my life, because I knew when I was young, middle school, you know what I'm saying? I was having feelings, but because of what I was taught, I just repressed it. I just pushed it down. And then it's just been a journey. It wasn't until I got to college that I was I don't want to just ignore this anymore. This is how I feel. It's not really disappearing. It's just kind of who I am. And so after college and just life after college too, I just started to fully accept myself for who I was. And that's a huge part of my identity. And so I would say because of that, I have felt a lot of peace with myself. So I'm okay, this is who I am. And that's it. I don't have to change for anyone.
Okay. And of course, the most obvious is being yourself, embracing that who you are fully, being you authentically. But what ways do you find inner peace? What does self-care look like? What's your self-care routine on a daily?
Yeah, I'm all about self-care. And I feel like you are a major part of that too. Because you are that too.
Yep.
You tell all,
I do. I tell all my clients self-care. I do. It's important.
The way that I put it is you wake up with yourself, you go to sleep with yourself at night, and you spend every second of every single day with yourself.
Self. It all leads back to self.
So you have to make sure that you are good.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you are good. So for me, self-care is, I like to write. So I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about that.
I'm excited too. I'm so excited.
I like tell my story and everything. So writing, I would say journaling is huge for me. I love to journal.
Yeah.
Like if something happens to me, or like if I feel a certain way, or like, I just can't stop thinking about something. Journaling helps me to just release. Yoga, like stretching, just like when I do yoga, I just feel so just like locked, like, the term it locked in. I just feel locked into like me. Like it's just like I feel like one with myself and just like my whole being. So yoga, journaling, honestly, just like aromatherapy. So like I like to like candles, I like to like incense, I like to like sage and just like cleanse my space in my area. That's a big part of self-care for me. Cleaning, like, but usually, people are like, you like clean your area and then you light a candle at the end. It's like, I do that too. Like, like
it does.
It's a huge thing. Any sort of, there was one day, like before I flew here, like to see family and everything, I was in California and I was just like, I remember at the end of the day, I just felt so, like I was in bed, but I was like, I feel great right now. And it's because I invested in myself so much that day. Like I talked with a friend about something that was bothering me. I went to like 2 medical appointments. Like I went to the gym, like, and that's another thing for me is the gym. Gym is a huge part of self-care for me because like I'm literally taking care of myself and my body, like physically taking care of myself. Trying to eat the right things is self-care for me. Trying to like stay on track with like my finances and budgeting, that's self-care. And just like doing things for myself, like even if Miley Cyrus, I can buy myself flowers, like literally that type of thing. You can and I will,
and I do.
$3.99 at Trader Joe's. Okay, we got a little petite bouquet.
Sunflowers.
So, sunflowers are my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. Sunflowers. So I just like I say like take yourself on a date, like do that. Or even another big one for me because I love to dress up. I love dresses. I love outfits, fashion, all of that. Yeah. So I think a big part of self-care for me too is just like even if I don't have somewhere to go. Taking an everything shower is what they say. You know what I'm saying? Like you wash your hair, you shave your legs, like you like do a face mask, like whatever, do everything. And then additionally, do your makeup, dress up, do your hair. Like even if you're not even going anywhere.
When you look good, you feel good. That's my favorite cliche. Or saying.
And then music too is self-care.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now what's your inner peace go-to song for motivation for all of it?
Flawless Remix.
Okay.
It's just boss B energy. Like it's just like
I love it.
Like wake up, flawless. It's just like you're just like, oh, I'm her. Like I say that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Is there a message you want to leave the audience in regards to inner peace, self-care, self in general?
Just love yourself and be you.
Yeah.
Love yourself and be you unapologetically.
I feel like you are like my spokesperson client. And I feel so bad saying this because a lot of my clients are going to see this. But no, seriously, because you embrace everything that I want to tell the world. That's why I'm doing this therapy for the world. I'm so serious. Seriously, no, because you are unapologetically yourself. The message that I try to tell everybody, just embrace you, be happy, unconditional love to self. And you really do the work. Like I tell everybody, journal, affirmations, like, and you're doing it. And like it
took me a while to get there,
I know. But you did it. You did it. Like you didn't stop. California, you still seeing me, and you did the work, and now you get to enjoy like inner peace. You get to, of course life happens, but you get to go through that, and you know that it's just a moment. It doesn't define, like, and even when you ended, he was like, I already knew you've been not needing therapy for a while. I know.
I told my mom that today.
I did. I've been knowing you didn't need it, and I was just like, I don't tell people when they're done. I allow them. That's you advocating for yourself, self. And you was like, I got something to tell you. I was like, I already know. You know.
I remember.
I know, but no, seriously, like you embody what it is to be unapologetically you. And even when we have disagreements with people, like being able to speak on it and okay, it doesn't have to end our friendship. Like we can talk about this, and if it does, just okay.
That's what it is.
You have a good support system. You know who to keep around, and who not to. But 100%. The biggest thing is what you just said about everything. The loving yourself unconditionally, being unapologetically you. Like it's that simple. Yeah. It literally is that simple.
Just love yourself, be you, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I have one quick little story before we end. I was in TJ Maxx and there was this older Caucasian lady behind me, and she was looking at my braids, and she was like, how long did that take? And I was like 7 hours. And she was like, oh my gosh. Like, she was just like, she couldn't believe it. And then we were just kind of talking, and then she mentioned to me, she was just kind of like talking about, I don't know, I guess just like beauty and getting older and like losing what she felt like was like losing your beauty, even though your beauty never leaves.
Yeah.
Because
it's within you.
Yeah, exactly. But then like she said, my birthday's coming up, and I was like, happy early birthday. And I was like, how old are you turning? No, I don't think I even asked her. I think she was just like 83. She's like 83, and I was like, what? Yeah. So then I was like, okay, so what would you tell a 26-year-old? Like what, or just anyone, like what wisdom can you give? And she said, take care of yourself.
Yeah, that's what it's the most simplest thing, but it's hard to get away from all the loud noise that's been, I don't want to say, but programmed in us. But once you learn that when you learn you are in control of self, you are in control of that mind, and just embrace yourself unapologetically, life gets easier. Yeah. It just gets easier.
It's so easy because you don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
That would do me. So
yeah, exactly. It is what it is. Yeah.
100%.
But anything else?
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really do. I think I know a lot of people are going to get a lot from your story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This was great. Love it.
Inner peace. I say inner peace looks like liberation. It's freedom and something we're all really seeking. Yeah. Freedom from societal constraints. Freedom from this blueprint that I don't know who made up. But and then sometimes that to get to that, it takes that self-care. It takes what you need to do, those bathroom breaks. But what does inner peace look like to you, and how you get it?
Inner peace to me is that power that I didn't have as a kid. Is everything that I do that makes me feel seen, even without somebody saying they see me. It's me showing up. It's me being present. And one of the things that I use, this is not for everybody. Everybody else got to find their own thing, but I prefer the gun range. So again, like I said, I had trauma with like being pistol whipped, things like that. And I felt like that was the tool that was used to control me. I want to use that to be able to control it. Like, this is a vessel. It doesn't work unless somebody's touching it. Yeah. Okay, well, let me not feel robbed by this source. That's like almost like being afraid of the dark. Like, you don't go nowhere because somebody told you to boogeyman there, but you turn on the light and you're like, ain't it? Yeah. Let me figure this out. So for me, it's going to the range. I enjoy it with others. I enjoy it by myself, but it's something about this item that I have to be in control of, because it's so deadly. If I'm not, bad things can happen. But also I have to focus. I have to be intentional. I have to not be perfect, but I have to produce productive thoughts to do a task. And I feel like the gun range is the only place for me that I have to channel so much of that and the consistency, because again, it's without me touching it, it's harmless. But once I pick it up, I have to do all these things. And that's what gives me my power back, because I didn't have control. I didn't have my aim. I didn't have all the things that the person was doing to do that for me. And for me, that's Like, I feel like a big girl.
Yeah.
I just feel like a big girl when I go to the range.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like,
I like going to the girl. I do too. I do.
Something about smelling the ammunition that is not triggering is powerful. Because before it was triggering, and now I'm like, nah, that means get ready. That means get go. Like, I had to train my brain to rethink the negative encounter to make it this powerful thing for me. And so for me, it just means that I'm not in that place anymore. I'm not in that space anymore. I'm still this body that experienced the encounters, but my brain has evolved.
You are not your experiences. You're not your circumstances.
And when you're situation, like, you are not that. That does not define you. And I feel like the moment I took back going to, like, the gun part of it, because again, that was the only thing that was ever used besides words, and I realized that words have power, and I figured that part out. But I was like, how do I get this thing? Now I'm like, I feel like big girl. Can't nobody tell me nothing in here. I feel like I am literally in control, and it feels invigorating. It feels exciting. It feels like, y'all, my bra's on right. Like, you ain't put it on upside down, nothing wrong. Like, it just feels, it's a superficial thing, but yet feels so interpersonal for me. And that's what I use definitely for long-term coping skill, music, stuff like that.
Music, what's the song? Because we got, everybody got to get a song. Your song, your life song. Like, okay.
My life song?
Yeah.
My life song is actually Cameo Candy. If I hear it, it doesn't matter where I am. You're going to see me dance. It doesn't matter where I'm at. You're going to see a little boardwalk, the shimmy shake. You're going to see it, because that song just takes me to such an innocent place in my life. Of just like joy, happy times, fun times. And, like, I see it all. So that's one. And if I don't have that, I would definitely do my daughter's, her favorite song, which is Pretty Girl Rock. And I'm just like, you know, but I am pretty. Okay. Like, it's just this uplifting thing that it also makes me feel good to be me. Like,
music is therapy.
Music is
I love music. You know,
you can't tell me that music don't put you in some type of mood, because people use it as mood setters.
They do.
So, like, why wouldn't you use that to change your mood?
And everything. I love it.
So that's, for me, that's what it looks like. And again, as I still work on my depression, because I feel like it's going to be
it's a life journey.
It's going to be an endless journey. And I'm okay with that. And I'm so excited about that. Because I feel like the minute I feel like I got it, the minute,
you know, you don't.
I don't. It's taken over. So like, as long as I'm constantly working at it and with it and understanding that I change, it changes. And it shows up different. I feel like that's the greatest journey for me.
I love it. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I'm so happy that you, like, man, I feel like I learned some stuff, you know what I'm saying? I know the audience did, but thank you for being a part of this journey. I definitely appreciate it. Inner peace, you got to do those things that you find, you know, the self-care, things like that. I know previous episodes you mentioned bathroom breaks, but is there anything else in music, gun range now, but anything else that you feel like you want to leave the audience in regards to that inner peace, that liberation, that power that's all within you, that you want to leave the audience, and how to get that?
I would say that if you're a spiritual person, then definitely tap into that side.
We all are, even if people don't, you know.
Because I feel like even if you deny, you still have to acknowledge it.
You know,
That's just me. Or maybe, again, spirituality and religion are different for me.
It is. I agree.
I believe religion is a practice of something. Spirituality is what you believe in. So, like, those are different. So I believe in tapping into, you might not know that there's a spiritual being guiding you, even if it feels negative. You're still learning something to help the next person. Like, there's a being there. And for me, tapping into, like, I talk to God like I talk on the phone. Okay. Ain't no, like, I might do it sometimes, but for the most part, I am literally talking to God so continuously that other people are like, oh, so you on the phone? And I just like, yep, ain't no earbuds in here.
Yeah.
But it's tapping into that conversation, realizing that, like, God, you really did create me for something greater than I thought I was. And I thank you for showing me that every day. As you gave me children, because I told I was never going to have any, is what I was told, due to damage. So I'm like, how do I not thank you for the evidence that shows up? And the husband you blessed me with, because I never thought I'd have one. And now you gave me the greatest quarterback in the league. Like, baby, that supports me. Love, like, all the things that I know you wanted for me to have, gave me. How can I not? And then it's also through my experiences, how do I not help others?
Yeah.
How can I not?
Service to others is huge.
How can I deprive God's showmanship?
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know a lot of people may think through this season, and I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking it because it does all leads back to self. It's self. And it's not like I'm trying to create a selfish world or generation, but we have to learn to deal with ourselves so we can show up better in this world. So many people are running from themselves. So many people are lost, enslaved mentally, that this is where the harm is coming from.
Yeah.
Once you do work on yourself and find that inner peace, the liberation, that mental freedom, that, you know what I'm saying?
Say that part again.
That mental freedom, you're able to show up for others, because that is our purpose. I don't know how it looks for everybody, but service to others is a privilege we have for being on this earth. And it came from nowhere. I didn't even know what that meant. My people ain't servicing, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had to create a mission statement for our life, and that was mine early, almost 20 years ago. In that moment when I said that, I didn't know what that meant. I did not know what that meant at all. I do today. I do today. I do.
I love that though.
Yeah.
Like I love that. And I also feel like the greatest imprisonment is that of our minds.
It is.
And if you cannot free your mind.
Yes, free your mind.
Baby, you're not going to be able to get through anything.
None of it.
And I feel like your inner peace is your inner you. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can see it, but you should see it when you think of you, when you close your eyes. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like it's a little person sitting right here doing jump jacks.
Yeah.
She tweaking.
Yeah.
Goofy, authentic.
Yes. That's why I'm like, y'all don't have to do no alcohol, drugs, none of that. I be high off the life. I
am,
you know?
Naturally quirky.
I am too.
Just take
I just love being me. I love being Sierra, you know what I'm saying?
But that's my inner peace for me. Like, me really loving me. Because we're all people with imperfections. Mm-hmm. And depression is one of the imperfections because it's an emotional thing that I'm just dealing with. But like, every part of you is imperfected because you're a person.
It's this thing that, so when you mentioned the perfect, so I was like, I'm like, at its core, we all have perfection. I'm like, God doesn't create imperfections, but as soon as we're brought into this world,
there it goes.
this happens, this happens, and this happens. And that's what causes that imperfection. But once you really find you gonna know that you're perfect. Yeah. You don't have to change you. You don't have to do. And if you do it for you, not for her, not for him, not for them, not for they. Do what you need to do for you, but who you are at core, I know who I am at the core. I love it. I love me. I love me. You know,
I had to learn who
I did too, because I didn't love myself for a long time. I did not, and I tell people, I'm like, that's because you don't love yourself unconditionally. They're like, yeah, but I'm like, and I try to tell people, I'm like, I didn't either, and they were like, so, but but why are you in a situation where you're getting hit? Why are you in a situation where you have to do drugs to escape? Because people do it for different reasons, but you know you're doing it to escape. Yeah, it's
never
no
really seen some
love.
Crap today.
Exactly.
Like, no, you're doing it to escape, to get away. Like, that's usually.
And once you start dealing with what you need to deal with, accepting that, okay, this happened to me, but that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna need none of that.
But I think it's so liberating and invigorating to really find you.
That's why I had to bring back Free Your Mind. I was like, I don't think they heard me. Let me go ahead and read it.
Because
yeah.
Again, if people see the thoughts and things that have happened to me, and
that's what I've been saying. All these people that I've had on this season, like, man, and some of the people I don't really know like that. Like, we know each other from school and stuff, but we didn't, but everything that you're saying, like, I'm like, I ain't coaching none of these people saying none of this. Like, it's freeing to free your mind. Like, you have to deal with the things you need to deal with.
And if you don't, they're going to deal with you. Like,
they will.
Like, and that's the bad part, because then you ain't got no more control.
Yeah.
It's just taking over. It's running.
And when you don't have no control, you don't got no power. And this is why people picking on people bullying, people shooting up these schools. You know,
people say, know your worth and add tax.
Exactly.
There's something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But I know I've had it on a shirt.
I did too.
Like, to remind me. Don't.
Mm-hmm. I know who I am.
You know who you is, and they clearly know who you are too, because they're challenging.
Yes.
They're trying to diminish it.
Yep.
So
they're trying to dim your light, baby.
and you can't pay this electric bill, okay?
Exactly.
You can't afford this electric bill.
Because God did this.
Because God is just
God.
God. Okay, God is God.
Yeah.
Girl, don't have me on. Don't.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my version of shout.
But thank you. Like I said, thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I really appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having you. Understand what this has done for me.
Yeah.
Like, this has been so self-revealing for me to know that I'm at a place where I can talk about these things openly and not feel guilty to myself. Like, yeah, you used to hate them. And not do that to myself anymore. Now I feel like, you know what? This feels good to say, because guess what? There's probably somebody else who
needs to hear your story.
Or worse, like, there's always somebody's story that's going out.
That's why I said I don't like the word trauma. I'm like, we all deal with it, and I'm like, and I don't want to say somebody's trauma is worse than somebody else, because your trauma is your trauma.
Yeah, traumatizing to you.
Yeah, what you've been through is what you've been through, but you still got to get through it.
Yeah,
and only you can do that for you.
Literally, nobody's gonna wind up your back and crank you up every time. How are you putting in your own battery? How are you recharging yourself? How are you mechanically maneuvering through this? And for me, I live in a world of analogies and metaphors.
I love analogies, metaphors, cliches.
I love it because it adds like a visual thing that somebody can relate to be like, okay, well, I can't do that. Okay.
And they've been analogies, all them things. Like, it ain't too many new ones, because ain't nothing new under the sun. That's in the Bible too, y'all. Y'all better go. But ain't nothing new under the sun. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And like, you don't have to try to navigate this alone. Like, it's your journey and it's your process, but we're all dealing with this.
Yeah.
You don't gotta make it.
You gotta make it individualized.
We're all dealing with this. Your situation might right now, to your mind, in your perspective, it may seem like the worst thing ever, but just know that you're gonna get through this.
Yeah,
you're gonna get through it. We've got through some things, y'all.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when you say perspective, that's obviously what you see. Let's change how you see you.
Yeah,
let's change how you see you, how you talk to you, how you show up for you. That changes a lot of your circumstances.
It does.
Inner peace looks like liberation to me. It looks like freedom from I'll say societal constraints, freedom from all of the things, time constraints, financial constraints. It's like freedom to just be you authentically, unapologetically. In finding inner peace, self-care is important, because like we discussed through this whole season, the answer always leads back to self. So what does your self-care routine look like? What does inner peace look like to you as well?
I can agree to a lot of what you think inner peace is. I think inner peace is not worrying about judgment from others and like making decisions on your own, not being scared of anything that you've done in the past, going back to like anxiety and stuff, not having that anxiety of what you're holding on to in the past and being able to move forward. And like you said, freedom to just make choices. And a lot of people want to be happy, but I want joy, because joy, I don't know, I think it's completely different than being happy. And I think that, I don't know, I think joy is what I'm seeking, like through everything. It's like that's freedom to me, because joy is like, even if I'm not happy this day, I know that I'm still happy, like internally. I can still be happy on those bad days or in those bad situations, just having joy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to get at with this episode. Happiness is another emotion to me. We're gonna feel that just like we're gonna feel all the rest of them. But the liberation, the inner peace, that's just something you know that's gonna stay with you no matter what emotion you're feeling. But in regards to that, what does the self-care looks like to you to find that inner peace?
Self-care for me is outside of my job and everything. At the end of the day, being able to decompress and like work through my emotions daily, I think is the best thing for me. And like mentally being able to make it through each day. Every single day I come home, I decompress. I think about all the maybe negative emotions that I had throughout the day, the positive emotions, and I think that has helped me so much in this past year. I think I've been doing that with being able to let everything go at that time, like being able to work through all those emotions, any situation that I had that day. And then, I mean, I guess if I'm not able to, I mean, I'll leave it for the next day, obviously. But for the most part, doing that every single day for me has been the best form of self-care for me, especially like mentally. And then outside of like going to take care of like, physical things like getting your hair done, getting up. I'll say that at one point I wasn't able to like get up and just do something with my hair or maybe put a little bit of makeup on. Like that makes you feel so much better. And especially if you've just been in like a down place and you're not able to like get out of bed or anything, like even just getting up and putting your hair in a quick ponytail or putting on like your favorite outfit or something like that, it'll really boost your confidence. It'll boost your mood, just knowing, because you know how we are, like you sit down and you like feel like you've been so bummy like all week or something, and then you finally put something cute on, you're like, you know what, actually I do look good. I do look good. So I think stuff like that is important too. Like, even though physical appearance is not important, it does help you feel good inside to know that your outside is taken care of.
Yeah, that's just first of all, I love saying when you look good, you feel good, because I agree with that. But also, like, to make it not seem like you're being superficial. But first of all, you dressing for yourself, and then second of all, like, think about your house is physical, and if your house is cluttered, if it's not, I'm just gonna be honest, if it's not clean, that translates to your
Exactly.
mind. And that goes with your appearance. If you're outside, like if you're feeling like, if you just waking up, you're just holding on your pajamas, like that affects your mood too. Like, you have to put forth effort in everything that you do, to, I'll say, to get to that state of inner peace, liberation. Like, it's making sure that you're making that effort. And it was something else that you said, that how your self-care, what your self-care looks like, is mindfulness. It's being still, it's sitting with yourself, it's the isolation and self-reflection. And like, some people don't know, you have to, that's the process of letting go, that's the process of being in the here and now. Because when you're sitting and decompressing, you're able to be present with self. Because when you're on a go a lot, this is how you disassociate. This is how you start to be, I'll say, create that anxiety and things like that. So
Exactly.
I think decompression, mindfulness, be still, it goes a long way. The isolation just with yourself, we have to have a moment. And I'm not saying isolate forever or anything, but
No, but like all those small things throughout the day, that's why all those small things throughout the day, like, that add up. That's what I'm saying. Like, every day before I just go into my house and I talk to my kids and stuff, I just think about, because it could have been somebody that pissed me off at work, and I'll be holding on to that tomorrow and be like, you know what? Yeah, they pissed me off yesterday, and remind myself the next day, because I didn't sit in that and just let it go and be like, hey, it wasn't that big of a deal, or maybe they was doing whatever. But being able to do that every day, and all those little things that eventually add up to it, or I might start thinking about it next week and I'm like, dang, I could have sat down and just thought that through a little bit. Or maybe the next day I need to go to work and say something to them, and that's just it. But yeah, that's helped me a lot this past year.
That's how I said it one day. I'm able to get my kids off to school, settled, and then I still get an hour to decompress before I even start seeing clients. And then once I'm done with seeing clients, I still get another hour now to decompress, so I can go back into, like, okay, release what I just experienced.
Exactly.
From work, especially, and I'm not therapy or any job, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people on a daily, and sometimes you decompress and like, oh, let me breathe. Let me just do what I need to do. So I want to be able to show up in my best version, my best self for when my kids come home. And now the rest of the day is family time, home time.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was going to say, music therapy. We haven't talked a lot about songs in our segments, but is there a song that can just get you in that place of feeling inner peace, or it just it feels like self-care when you listen to it.
Yeah, I think Closer to My Dreams. I listen to that song almost every morning when I get in my truck for work. It's calming, and it makes you feel like you're not in a rush to get anywhere. Like, you literally, that just makes me feel like you like cruising down the street, and like there's no time limit for anything. And Closer to My Dreams every single day. Even if I never make it there, that journey of being close or getting to where I need to be, like, I'm just taking in everything that I need to take in along the way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Is there, I'll say, a message that you want to leave with the audience in regards to inner peace, liberation, freedom?
I say this a lot, and I think that one of the most powerful people that you can know in this life is yourself. So if you haven't gotten to know yourself and you haven't taken that time to try to get to know yourself, or maybe you've been in a bad spot for a long time, you really need to take that time to learn yourself again. And also, I tell people this all the time too, letting all that old stuff die, all those old ways that you used to do things. If you feel, I don't know, if you feel defeated in maybe your business, your life, any aspect of your life that you feel defeated and you feel like you've been doing all the right things, let that old way die so you can try something new. That's not that you're going to fail at this one specific thing, but maybe you need to try a different way. Like, failure is not bad. Failure is a lesson learned. So if you're not succeeding in what you need to succeed in, just try it again and try it another way. But you got to let all that other stuff go that go along with the anxiety. All the stuff that we've been talking about through this season is knowing yourself and letting everything else go, letting all that old stuff die so you can give birth to something new and something amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. It was two things that you said. I'm reading this book called Mindset, and it talks about failure being a part of life. And that's when you know you're in a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Mm-hmm. When you allow failure to happen, to grow. And it talked about the most, I'll say the people who had, these are the examples. We talked about Michael Jordan, and we hear it, but people still don't want to give him credit for what he did. Like, he didn't make that basketball team. He kept trying to practice. He practiced and he kept practicing. And even when he left basketball and came back, and he almost let himself fall in a fixed mindset, like, I am the greatest, because that's what people were saying. And he was like, no. They lost when he came back. He was like, I had to go put in work, and I put in double the work. Like, it's effort. We have to put in effort in this life. And they talked about a lot of other people, sports, even Tiger Woods. It was like, when he got into golf, and it was like, no, it's not about practice. You either have it or you don't. And he's been practicing since he was a kid, and in how he practiced, people don't know, like, and even people, they have failures. They don't win every time. But because they win often and they make it look good, people are like, oh, it got to be easy. No, you have to put forth the effort. And the effort, once you put forth the effort, it does seem like it's easy, but you just got to try.
That's it.
It was another thing that you that I literally just was telling somebody about this. A lot of us are so consumed with I'll say this rat race, or just this blueprint of what we think is life, like getting that job, paying bills. Like, that's not, if you don't work on yourself, this is what happens when those suicidal thoughts come in. I'm like, somebody's like, yeah, but I have to pay bills. I can't focus on like taking time off to go, inpatient, or just working on myself and not. I'm like, but if you're not here, what? Those bills don't matter.
Exactly.
If you're not taking care of, none of the things you're worried about matters. So you have to take care of yourself. And it's like, okay, even people have come through the hardest places. People have been homeless. People have been evicted. People have cars been repoed. People have, been abused sexually, mentally, physically, and they came out of it, and they came out of it still thriving. Don't let these circumstances of life get to you. You have to make yourself a priority.
Exactly.
And in doing that, everything it's gonna fall in place how it's supposed to.
It has to. That's just how life works.
It is. It is. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I really, really do appreciate it. Once again, it definitely takes courage to be vulnerable, to be open and honest and transparent. So I really do appreciate it.
And thank you. I told you thank you for having this place. I'm proud of you for your consistency, even when you feel like you're not doing enough, because we all feel like we're not doing enough sometimes. You're doing amazing, and the consistency is crazy, way better than I've seen a lot of people. So you should be proud of yourself and pat yourself on the back for the consistency and all the work and the emotion that you put into what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Honestly, thank you.
You're welcome.
Inner peace, freedom, liberation, I feel like they all go hand in hand. And I think at its core, that's what most people are searching for in this world, honestly. I think a lot of people get on this healing journey thinking, oh, if I do this, or if I accomplish so many goals, or if I make so much money, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be free, I'm going to be, but no, it's stuff that you have to work on internally and making sure your cup is full. That's that self-care, before you can really find what you really desire and want in life. And that's freedom from societal constraints, freedom from really money, financial, everything, honestly. And it's so freeing, and that freeing feeling feels peaceful to me anyway. But can you tell me about your experience with inner peace, freedom?
Yeah, I think I think in order to help others, you need to help yourself first, uh, and that means that you have to take care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then as you can. And something that's been very beneficial to me over the years is my relationship with nature. That I find a lot of peace, and where the world just makes sense to me. And I've been fortunate enough to live next to a forest, and I spent a lot of time walking and riding my bike on that trail. And um, and I wrote a little poem called Samsara, that about how the forest that is helpful to me. That if I can share this with you. Upon entering the forest, I am encircled by a welcoming canopy and feel at one with the natural world. For I too emerged from darkness into light, grew green and spindly, then tall and strong. And now I'm changing colors, shedding a protective covering, preparing to become a part of the earth from whence I came.
I love that. And when you were talking, I really never connected this, but I just did in my mind. So I'm gonna say it. Nature with really spirituality. I feel like nature is very much so spiritual, because a lot of times when we talk about how can I work on my spiritual, not just going to church or praying, but I feel like being in nature, it is very spiritual, because it's like a lot of nature can't speak to us physically, but I feel like you were talking about, like being embraced by the trees, like it can feel like a hug, like, and just being in the wind, like it's a lot that nature, it just feels like spiritual to me. I don't know, that's just what I thought about when you were talking about nature, and when I was listening to your poem. I feel like it's easier to manage and learn what you need to do physically and mentally, but spiritually, how can I connect with that? And of course, prayer, meditating, things like that. But being in nature, it can go a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. That I kind of call the forest in my church.
Yeah.
That's that's where I really feel, at at one with the world.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, I don't know. When you were saying that, I never even really connected it, but I definitely feel like being in nature is spiritual for me. Like, I love going outside. I literally was just talking about that in one of my episodes, but I definitely feel nature definitely correlates to the spiritual aspect of us, I guess. But so I know being in nature is a part of your self-care. Anything else like that you feel gets at your makes you feel free?
I think just a general feeling then of being comfortable then with myself
Mm-hmm.
and being accepting of my limitations and being accepting of my strengths, trying to be gentle with myself and trying to do the best then with what I have,
Mm-hmm.
then on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I think those are those are helpful. And I wrote a little poem called "Unleashed" that kind of expresses some of the freedom, okay, that I've been feeling lately. Okay, then about being able then to be comfortable then with being me, and I'd like to share that with you if I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, this poem then was inspired then by a song, okay, that I heard, then about a dog,
Okay.
and it goes, "Wild old hound that be he, no more leash, so he can be free. Nothing to fetch, no one to please, relieving himself wherever he be. Long ears flapping, hound dog howl, tail wagging on the prowl, bandana on neck, nose to the ground, following a trail that's outward bound. True to what guides him, following his bliss. The day dawns, knowing he has no more ass to kiss."
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I love that. And I feel like it kind of sums up this whole season because, I started with Free Your Mind and really freedom is being unleashed. Honestly, you're unleashed from these chains, the mental chains, the physical chains, and even sometimes the spiritual, because a lot of people go through hard times because of how they were raised in different churches and stuff like that. And breaking free from that and finding your own spiritual relationship and what that looks like for you. And then, yeah, I just love the analogies. I loved everything about that poem, honestly. And I definitely liked how it ended. People pleasing the wrong people, I'll say it in a nice way. You don't have to do that anymore. And it does become so freeing. I love that. I love that. So, is there anything else that you want to add? Just advice or guidance or a song? Because it's a lot of things that inspire us, but helping people be, I'll say, inspired to really tap into being unleashed, tapping into that freedom, that inner peace. Any final words or guidance?
Well, I'm just thinking um, about a song that usually puts a smile on my face and makes me feel happy and free, and it's "Reggae Got Soul."
Maria got soul. Yeah.
Yeah, that I song.
So, got so much soul.
And, it's got a great beat and it's just happy and positive and all the time that I listen to it, then it puts me in a really 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 good mood. So
Mm,
recommend listening to that song.
okay. We're gonna play it for the audience. Um, but is there any other lasting words for you? I think the song, that poem was definitely great. You guys can put that on repeat. But is there anything else that you want to leave with us?
I would just say, be the best you that you can be, and to be gentle with yourself.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me and having the courage to put yourself out there too. I really appreciate that. I think it takes real strength in being vulnerable and being open and being your authentic self, because many people are not. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Sierra.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Terry Foote, poetographer and Illinois native, currently living in Champaign. Please enjoy my poetry books, Picturesque Poetry and Artistic Avenue. Wild old hound, that be he, no more leash, so he can be free. Nothing to fetch, no one to please, relieving himself wherever he be. Long ears flapping, hound dog howl, tail wagging on the prowl. Bandana on neck, nose to the ground, following a trail that's outward bound. True to what guides him, following his bliss. The day dawns, knowing he has no more ass to kiss.
I love that.
Inner peace, now liberation. I'm calling it different things, like finding your power, but what does inner peace look like to you?
Inner peace for me is just being in a place where my spirit is happy. Mm-hmm. And my spirit man and my human or natural man has connected. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing that can separate me from the love of God. And so I find peace in that. Yeah. I find peace in knowing that everything is going to be all right. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, everything is going to be all right. And so that's where I find my peace. That's where I find my place where I can go to silence the noise and the confusion of everyday life and society. I just go to that place and knowing everything is going to be all right. And I take it one day at a time and I just go for it. Like, no matter what.
It sounds like freedom. I feel like I was reading and I just was like, man, this is, I feel like I was like, I don't want to say spiritual awakening. I was like, I had a spiritual calling from God, and I was reading this book and I was just, and I'm going to say this multiple times probably throughout, but it was just like everything that he was saying about, it was like the late 1700s, early 1800s, and he was talking about slavery and people being enslaved. And I was just like, what he was saying though, it reminded me of still today, so many of us are still enslaved mentally, but really it's kind of enslaved by society. And like we talked about just on in our last segment about people having this, I'll say, living their life in a box and living their life tied to societal standards and expectations. And I'm like, I want freedom from that. Like, I want freedom from.
And when you get it, it's so, when I tell you, it's so peaceful.
It feels like
it feels good.
It does.
Like knowing, like none of people were upset with me because they were like talking about the voting and the presidential stuff. So me, I'm somebody, I don't really deal with politics. I don't have conversation with people about politics. What you do, what you vote, that's your business. You know what I mean? Because you'll be upset with me. Yeah. Because I choose Christ. I didn't choose Trump. I didn't choose Kamala. I chose Christ. And so a lot of people will be like, well, what that's who controls my life.
Yeah, because that's, a lot of people are like so upset about it. I'm like, and I don't want to say, but I'm like, that's because you really don't have faith in God. If you had that faith, if you had that trust, belief in it, all knowing, why are you worried? Why are you stressed? Why are you?
What I can honestly say, I don't care. Since I've been able to vote, I don't see how the president has affected my life. Mm-hmm. I can honestly say that. Like, even with, they're like, oh, inflation this and inflation that. Like, the gas, when the gas was $5, I was still putting gas in the car. Yeah. And I wasn't, it didn't seem like it was affecting me. You know what I mean? But I also know the power of prayer, and I know that words have power, and I speak things over my own life. And so I don't care who the president is. Whatever they set up for this world, it's not going to touch me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So,
and I think that's a lot of people, I feel like they find comfort in fear, and I'm just say that. But as far as we're in peace and that liberation, because that is freeing, not to be so tied and connected to that. Like, people woke up mourning and sad and like they let that really dictate their whole entire day. Let that affect their mental health. That's not inner peace.
Right.
That's not liberation.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, I've just gotten inner peace. I just it's not like I've had it for a long time, but when I got it, I was like, I refuse to let anybody tap into it or touch it, because like even with my home, like I pray before I come in the house, because I've been out here in this world and I don't want nothing to attach itself to me, and I bring it in my home and now there's no peace here. You know what I mean? I want everybody to come in and across the threshold and they feel like peace, like they feel so comfortable and relaxed, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like they can feel like that this atmosphere is set for peace. And so I don't let nobody bother my peace. I don't let anybody disturb me. Like, I was in a place where my emotions controlled everything and I was angry. And so like you'll feel it. You'll come up in here like, girl, I'm about to go. Like, you know what I mean? So like I had to deal with that. And once I got that peace, like on the inside, I knew how to change the atmosphere. On the outside, I knew how to set the tone for my household, for my life, and I know how to speak things and they happen. And so that's where I am.
So is there anything like you do to continue to maintain that?
I pray every day.
Yeah.
That's really the thing that keeps me grounded, is my conversations, my commune with God, and my focus, and knowing that every day I have a purpose. Every day he breathes air into my lungs and tell me, get up and do it one more time. Get up and try it again. If you didn't get it right yesterday, get up and try it again and be okay with it. You know what I mean? So prayer is definitely the center. It's the center. I have to have my conversations with God on a regular. So
I'm gonna say also, music therapy.
Yeah.
Is there a song that
Let me see. I am so like music is so I'm into the arts. So I praise dance. I do my own drawings. I'm not an artist. I draw for myself. I write poetry. I write books, and music takes me to a place of solitude. So music is what I consider that cancels out any kind of noise, any kind of distractions. As far as like a song, I have a lot of songs. One of my favorite songs is Better Days by Leandria. And so I listen to that song, and then it leads me to Deliver Me. Then it leads me to Help by Erica Campbell. And then there's this song called Press. When I listen to that song, it kind of like is the last thing that I need to hear that like pushes me. Yeah. Pushes me out there, like, keep going. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want to tell you guys who it is by, because it's not, I don't know if it's popular or what, but it's okay, let me see. I'm gonna get it. It should be in my search because I just searched it the other day. Oh, let me check my library. Curtis. It's by Miranda Curtis. Curtis. I sent it to you. Okay. Yes, that it's a powerful song. It's very powerful. I praise dance to the song. I could barely make it through the song because how it just touches your everything, but it also gets you into a place where you can find peace.
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a message you want to leave the audience in regards to inner peace, liberation?
Inner peace is important. Inner peace is connected to mental health. And there's so many people that don't have a peace of mind. And so they try to find something that'll help them silence the noise. And so that's why you see a lot of people out here strung out on drugs. That's why you see a lot of people that have just gone like what we call them, well, I used to dispatch. And so we call them zebras. But like if you take the time to listen to them, they tell you what happened to them. They tell you their story. We just think they crazy because they randomly babbles and go on and on into something else. But before you hit that point, there's always a sign. There's always a sign that it's getting to be too much. And when it begins to be too much, you have to silence the noise. So whether you pray, whether you listen to music, like I used to dance, like when I praise dance, it helps me to find peace. So sometimes I'll be in here by myself and I'll just start dancing and just like, God, take it away. I need to praise my way through whatever. And so just whatever it is that makes you happy, use that to help you find peace.
Yeah, it's the self-care, like the mindfulness. It's what you said that quiets that noise inside. That some people inner critic, whatever it is, but whatever it looks like for you, you have to find that and really don't run from yourself either.
Yeah.
Those emotions that you're trying to escape, you're running from you because you got to deal with it.
You have to deal with it because they're going to resurface.
They definitely, they definitely will.
I was telling somebody the other day, like when you don't deal with your problems and you find something to help you cope, it's just like taking cough syrup when you have a cough. It doesn't get rid of it. It just suppresses it so that you can deal with it, so that you go out your day. So it's a suppressant.
I tell the clients, like, I don't have any issues with psych meds or anything like that because I was going to go back to school so I can be able to prescribe it. I was like, that God's like, no, that's not what you're meant to do. And I tell clients, it's to like, okay, but you still have to deal with it. You still have to deal
when them psych meds run out.
Yeah.
It's going to rise right back up.
Yeah, like you said, it's like that suppressant to help you, okay, I'm afloat now. But what do you got to do to work while you're afloat?
Absolutely.
You can't just like depend on it through life because then you're going to eventually drown.
I tell people you take a sponge, right? You wet a sponge and you ball it up, right? And it's like really small. But the moment you open your hand, that sponge grows right back to its regular size. And so that is exactly what's happening when you're taking these suppressants. It's suppressing the situation so that you don't have to deal with it. You can walk around and act like you're smiling and happy. But as soon as that stuff wears off, it's going to turn right back into a big problem.
Yeah.
And so you really need to get to a place where you get to the root of the problem so that you can deal with it. So they need to focus. Like people need to like really, like now's the time. Like it's so much stuff going on. It's so much stuff going on. Like the last place that you want to be is out of the reach of God. Get into something. Church, Bible, book study, prayer service, something. Get into something that will help you mentally deal with some things. And don't be afraid of therapy. Don't be afraid of counseling. Like,
don't really be afraid to just talk.
A lot of people are ashamed of their lives and the decisions that they made. And so they feel like if I go tell this lady that I didn't just did this and I just blew $1 million on gambling, then who cares?
Exactly.
You need to deal with it.
Yep.
Yeah, so who are we to judge?
Exactly.
So,
yep, you're right, because that's not our place.
It's not.
And we all have a story. We all have something that we've been through. We all have things that I'll say we're not proud of. And also, we've been through things and circumstances, but like once again, it doesn't define us. But you holding on to it and you trying to suppress it, you're letting it define you.
Absolutely.
Keeps you, I'll just say to, wrap it up, but it keeps you from that inner peace.
You have to get it. It's so important. Inner peace is definitely so important because once you get it on the inside, it's going to automatically show on the outside.
Yeah, it is. It's like you said, it's like you're walking with that energy with you. Like, thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much for this.
Happy for you to be a part of this journey with me.
Yes, I appreciate you. I know I was like, I got to reach out to her because this has been a long time, but finally it happened when it was supposed to happen.
It was.
Yeah.
I feel like this is what God wanted you to share this part.
Absolutely.
Like, every season I'm doing something different. And I feel like this was the story that God wanted you to share with the world.
Absolutely. I agree. No problem.
Okay, so inner peace, liberation, freedom. I feel like all of those things go hand in hand. And what I'll say, how have you found inner peace or this liberation, a sense of liberation or freedom? Like, what does that look like to you?
Well, for me, inner peace is about being happy. I know that might sound corny to some people, but the power of happiness is immeasurable. Part of that happiness is going by way of meditation to find inner peace.
Yeah.
To begin to find a moment of time where you can sit in a quiet corner and hear yourself think, so to speak, to tune in. Now, people think when you meditate, you got to do like a monk for days and hours on end. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
First, you start off very small, but again, you get into it. And sometimes it's hard for me to meditate here in New York because there's always sirens or something. So I've learned I've had to get up like kind of like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning just to meditate. Yes, I may go back to bed, but the point is to hear yourself. Meditation has done wondrous things for me. My intuition has seemed to increase, whereby I used to check my phone to find out the train schedule when the train is coming in. I no longer check it. When I get in, there's no more than 2 to 3 minutes before a train comes in.
Yeah.
It's almost as if meditation puts you in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe.
Yeah.
It's hard for a person to understand that until they actually get into meditation. Is it worth it? Oh, yes. Does it bring peace of mind? Oh, yes. I even write better than before I start meditating.
Yeah.
I look at life totally different before than when I start meditating. There seems to be a calmness. And now I can simply close my eyes and do the 3-finger technique of putting my 2 fingers and my thumb together, and I can almost feel my body just going deep into relaxation. A person has to do it to see what I'm saying. It may sound corny if you've never tried it.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem finding inner peace is because the mind is so busy.
Yep.
You know, if you're first starting and you got your eyes closed, well, your mind is thinking about everything, maybe what happened the day before, during, just after, oh, I need to do this and that. But eventually, if you stick with it, the mind will begin to calm itself a little bit. Not totally, because the mind is always active. The mind is always busy. But when you do it, you find a real overwhelming sense of calmness and whatnot. And it just gives you this kind of like way of looking at assessing life totally, totally different. I would recommend that everybody meditate. Not if you want to be a monk.
No,
I
have
peace within themselves.
No, I agree. The first time I ever attempted to meditate, it was when I was in undergrad, and they wanted us to experience a different, I'll say, religious culture
experience, so to speak.
Yeah, so I did Buddhism, and I went to, it was like a meditation, and I was just like, my mind was going, I'm like, nobody's really meditating. This is what I'm thinking in my head. This is not real. Can't nobody do this. I was just like,
the mind is so busy. The mind is so busy. But if you keep it up, you begin to calm the mind. The mind begins to, now, you're not going to take away because that's the nature of the mind. But it will calm enough whereby you begin to really more relax. So when I close my eyes, I could almost feel my body going down and down. And down. It's just a wonderful feeling.
So yeah, when I started again, and I don't know, maybe I was in a different place in my life, but when I did it again, when I attempted it again years later, it started working because I was like, you're not even trying because you're so caught up in your thoughts. And And I was like, I remember when I finally like cleared my mind, I was like, oh, you're doing it. And I was like, no, you gotta go back to it. And like you said, now it starts to become like, once you start doing it so often, it becomes a natural process of just doing it, honestly. And
I do mine religiously every single morning without fail. Every single morning. And it makes a difference how I start my day.
Yeah.
And I walk around knowing that I'm always in the right place at the right time in harmony with the universe.
Yeah.
That's meditation. That. It's people should try it.
Yeah, I agree.
If they not try it, believe me, they will have no regrets.
Okay. Is there a song or anything else? Because it is kind of music therapy. It's music therapy. Is there a song that gets you into that, like I'll say, inner peace or peaceful, liberating state?
Well, yes, there are things, there are tunes or frequencies I'll listen to, like certain frequencies that are healing and whatnot, and they're put in a kind of like a very soothing songs and whatnot. None of this crazy music that I hear coming out of these radios of "Hey, your mother" and call the woman all out of her name, and I'm not used to that. That's like, that is so foreign to my energy. And now I expect young people to get caught into it because that's how the music industry is projecting it. But to hear grown adult men with their windows down and not coming out of their car, that's like a old guy trying to be dressed like a teenager. It just doesn't match. It doesn't match, and the music doesn't match what's going on out here. So, yeah. So I would say calm music, and then next I like romantic. I've always been a romantic. You can edit this part out, but I always like romantic stuff. You know what I'm saying? To kind of make you fall in love with things again. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like talking and cursing and killing and shooting and stabbing, and then they want to know why these rappers be dying and killed at an early age.
Yeah,
that's the image they project.
Yeah. But no, thank you. I want to really thank you for being a part of this journey with me. I really appreciate you so much for.
Thanks, Vera.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome, dear. It's an honor and a pleasure with your gorgeous smile.
Thank you.
Inner peace. And I might just change liberation, freedom, because I feel like that is what really people are searching for at a core. I remember just recently I was talking to a client and she was like, I want happiness. She was like, no, I won't. And then it came, I'm like, I know you want peace. I mean, freedom. She want freedom. But that's what people want. And even like us talking in this whole journey, like even so many people with this job search, the purpose and all of that, it still looks like liberation. It looks like freedom and it feels freeing, but it can inner peace, because it is inner peace. It's all of it. And that's where true power lies. Like people feel like being powerful over other people brings them power, having this high position, this influence in life. And so many people get those things and they be like, I still feel powerless. Why? You know what I'm saying? Because you're not free. You got to work on yourself. It's the inner peace within self, like, I guess. But what is your experience with inner peace, freedom, liberation?
I find that again, I always go back to operating from the space of alignment. When you think about the way peace is, like, we don't have peace in this world. Like, it's just chaotic and crazy. But when you see people that are in the position of power, you see that power is like this external thing. People want power, money, all those different things. But then when you think about peace, when I think of peace is like the foundation of love. Like love is like that foundational thing. And so when you operate from that, peace feels like love. It feels like that alignment. It feels like all those different things. And so for me, my personal experience with the liberation part is just really tapping into who I am. And when I tapped into who I was, I then discovered who I was not.
Yeah.
All those different things. And I'm like, man, I'm not I'm not, a perfect person. I'm not, all the, like, you start to embrace who you really are. Like, you're not perfect. You're not going to get it right. And, you have to walk in that and own who you are. And so it's liberating when you start to strip away all these labels, all the status and all these different things that you think you're supposed to be. And it's just like at the end of it, you are at the base of it. When you think about what you can do and how you can do it in your own strength, like you're in your own strength, who are you? You know? And it's like, okay, if I don't have the power, if I don't have the money, if I don't have all, who am I when I operate in that? And so it goes back to purpose. What can I do? How can I serve other people? And so my liberation has been honestly me stepping into the authentic self of me, and then knowing what that is, and just kind of understanding that I'm not all these other things. And so it's like peeling away an onion. There's different layers, and you peel back until you get to the core. It's like, okay, I'm not all of these things. I'm that right there, which falls in alignment.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say, like, what is that process for you? I know it's a journey, but once you realize you're on this journey and you realize, like, a lot of the stuff leads back to self, now on a daily basis, I'll say daily, what do you do to keep being in alignment?
So every day I wake up and I have a routine. So I noticed, like, when I was out there trying to be in a corporate space and have all these titles, I used to just get up in the morning and I used to go. And I was not intentional with my time. I wasn't intentional about any of those. And so I had to figure out a routine for myself. And my routine was me just waking up. And I'll share this, what God gave to me. God told me, he was like, so when we go back biblical and you think about, like, the way that people had to sacrifice, they had to sacrifice meat, and animals and all this. And he always wanted, like, the fat offering and the fat and stuff. And so God was like, I'm like, why is that important? Like, why do you want the fat? Like, what is this thing? And so God was like, those are the best parts. And so I'm like, okay. So when he revealed that to me, he was like, I want the best of you, not what's left of you.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what does that mean? He was like, so that means I need you to get up in the morning before, the sun sets, and I need you to spend time with me. That looks like being intentional with my word, being intentional with, being quiet, because when we pray to God, we're talking to God. When we sit in meditation, we're hearing from him. And so I'm like, okay, so that became a part of my routine. And then he was just like, and I don't want you after the world's done had you and you tired. So now you got to come back to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I think about my process and what that looks like for me, it is me honestly just getting up in the morning, meditating with God, spending time in his word. Because again, he was just like, I once was what's best for you, or what's best from you, and not what's left of you. And so that looks like me returning to him in the evening, after, I've settled and all that, before I'm tired and worn out. It's just me returning back to his word, meditating and praying my day out, and doing that. But in the midst of all of that, I do, because a lot of times we are in our minds a lot. And so I'm always challenging negative thoughts that may come across, and I'm always practicing gratitude. So it could be as simple as, like, today, I am grateful for being on this platform.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that. And I find gratitude. And when you realize that you are walking in gratitude, it opens up room for other, things to, happen. So that's pretty much. And I try to, again, challenging my thoughts is a big one, because you come across people every day that will challenge you. You come across craziness. And so you have to, say, okay, like, how am I going to get through this moment? And so that is how I keep my peace in my day. That's how I flow. And so, that's my process.
Okay, so maybe I'm spot, but, music therapy, I feel like music also definitely plays a big part in maintaining that peace. So, like, if you are feeling, if you're feeling down or something like that, is there a go-to song that gets you there?
Is there a go-to song? The River. I can't remember who it was by.
I'll look it up later, and I'm gonna put a clip in there.
Okay, so it's called The River, and I think his first name is Todd. I can't think. His last name starts with a D, but that is It's called The River. It's a gospel song, and it brings me peace. Like, it is like, it brings me peace, but then it's also one of those things that kind of gets me back into the alignment of like, I
like that. Is there a message you want to leave the audience in regards to inner peace, liberation, freedom, alignment?
Everybody is searching for freedom. Everybody is searching for peace. If you have turmoil within yourself and you know that you are not in a space of peace, again, if you cannot figure out what that looks like for you, turn to God if you are spiritual. And if not, find somebody that can help you get to that place of peace, that can help you walk through what that process looks like for you.
Yeah, thank you. You're
welcome.
Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Inner peace. What does that look like for you?
Inner peace is attainment. It is actually self-actualization, finding myself, knowing who I am, and regardless of my outside circumstances, being calm in a storm. That is what inner peace looks like. When I lost my son, went through my divorce, ended up, getting blackballed at my corporate job, all at the same time, I still had to be the light. And not allow my world that was crumbling down in front of me to consume me.
Yeah.
So my definition of inner peace is joy, bliss, excitement, love, fulfillment. That's what it looks like for me.
Yeah. I feel like talking to, some people asking about inner peace, I don't know, like, I feel like it's really been, it's like liberation. It's freedom. It's
absolutely.
And now I just connected and I see it. Like, that's just what I see when I see inner peace. I talked about this with somebody else, but a lot of people were like, oh, I want him to be my peace. I want her to be. Peace can't come from anybody but you.
Exactly.
And people may think what they want to think, but that's why it's really called inner peace. We left the inner off and we went with peace and I'm looking for peace here and there. And it gets me to that song, and I didn't really want to say it, but this Beyonce song I had shared, but we're looking for something that's within us.
Yeah.
It's there. It's within you. And then also, the greatest love of all is
love that you cannot. That's
with you.
Best. The greatest love of all, Whitney Houston.
Yeah, that was my first song I played on my podcast. The first episode ever, Tap Into Your Inner Child. It's like, the greatest love of all is you. That's just it. It's just it.
Yeah.
But anything else that you want to say with inner peace? Like, I try to ask about, like, what's your self-care routine to get your inner peace, or how do you find, or what was your process? And I know this has been a journey, and life is a journey. It's never ending. But once you get to a place, you are able to find that inner peace easier. Because every day, life gonna throw you them lemons.
Life be
lifing. But when life be lifing, what do you do to connect back with inner peace, to get that inner peace?
Honestly, I don't let no external factor move me at all. Right?
How have you been able to find that, though, for people who haven't?
The way I find it is being whole. And again, life will always life, and so it doesn't mean that I'm not subjected to the same regular normal stuff. It's life, but I don't have attachments to things. And what that look like is, this is a situation. Interesting. What can I learn from this situation? Good, bad. When I say good, bad, meaning like it may not be the best situation, because anytime we have anything that
inconvenience,
challenge, uncomfortable, we tend to look at it as a thorn, but no, it's not a thorn. It's like, okay, great, obviously I'm built for this, so what can I learn from this experience? So now I done took something that should have been toxic, hell bent, disrupt my day, and I turned it to something positive. Again, transferring that energy. So that's how I keep it, and not being attached to no outcome.
You know what? So it got me thinking about don't cry over spilled milk. I was thinking about a flat tire. It can be a very inconvenience, and I used to get a lot of flat tires. I'm not really great with cars. But at first I was like, let that define my day. And then I just was like, you know what? It was probably meant. Now I missed a car accident potentially.
Correct.
I could have, now I'm reading this book or learning something that it was meant for me to learn in this moment, And I just think about this thing, like my friend recently, he was stuck in traffic for a while, and it was a bad, horrible accident. It was like a semi truck, 2 car. It was a lot, but nobody was hurt. And he was like, then he was like, you know what? This was meant to happen, because he was like, what if I would have left earlier? No, I could have been in that accident.
That could have been him,
or if I would have, no matter what, this is where I was supposed to be. And it kind of gets back to what you stated in the earlier, in one of the episodes we talked about, but this contract. And if you don't want to say contract, plan. God, it's been scripted, and then like everything happens for a reason. It's real. Everything happens for a reason, and this inconvenience may have saved your life.
Correct.
This inconvenience may make you, if you trying to be in the now, the here and the now, maybe it's something in this moment you need to observe. You know what I'm saying? Like, take it for what it needs to be. Like, it's just, you know what? I was supposed to have this inconvenience. I was supposed to lock myself out this for the 15th time.
For the 15th time. And it's like, really, what can I learn from it, right? And that's, and I think a lot of times that we always want to be in control. When we learn to release, let go, surrender, now you are just pretty much just floating in life, despite the chaos and conflict. You're literally floating, because you already know, like for myself, my spiritual team got me. I'm guided and protected. So nothing is going to happen to me that ain't supposed to happen to me, right? And when it does happen, I'm always coming there optimistic, despite how difficult it is, right? My divorce, my son, and then these are major life events that I went through.
It is.
Losing my job, major life event, and so I can actually speak on it, because I'm not just saying like, oh man, I didn't get the raise or something. I wouldn't even say that's small, because that could be big. But something minute, like, I didn't order the right. I didn't get the right.
Losing a child. That's, you know what I'm saying? That, like you said, no parent is ever thinking or knowing that they're, like a parent does. Then we all hear a parent is not supposed to outlive their child. A divorce. I was with this man for 2 decades. That's a lot. People don't even last 10 years now. Let's just be real, you know. And that's my saying too. Let's just be real. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. But for real, like, and I know we may make it look good and it seem like we're happy-go-lucky. No, we feel the feelings. We feel sad. We feel, I don't even want to say heartbreak, because my heart is never broken. I feel,
disappointed
that this did not work out. Like, I invested 20 years of my life in this relationship. I lost my child. I felt what I needed to feel, but I did not succumb to it.
Or let it define me.
I did not let it define me. And that's where real inner peace comes from. Not letting your circumstances, your experiences define who you are, and, keep on living. Find that inner peace that you need to find. So I'll say. So we is on this self thing, man. We was talking like, everybody might, but the answer is always self. It's always you.
It is. It starts inside. And if you guys pay attention, like, real talk, the reality is we've been, because people they have like this whole, you can't focus on yourself, it's selfish to focus on self. The reality is we have not been doing that for years, decades, centuries, right? And see where it has landed us. And also, so let's try something different.
And I'm going to say this, because when we talked about this off camera about, we talking about self, and I feel like throughout my whole journey and, relating yours and other people who I know, we've been so focused on everybody else. And it wasn't working. And not for us. It wasn't working for them either. They're not here to receive what we wanted to give them. They wasn't taking that.
They weren't healing. They were not healing.
as soon as you start working on yourself, you start changing people's lives.
Yes,
and I
you do.
know I've changed people's lives because people said, you changed my life.
Correct.
I'm so happy you came into my life. You changed my life for the better.
Yes.
And I see it. So when you start focusing on yourself, like these things and saying things come from nowhere. Put your mask on first before you assist other. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Correct.
You know, like these things didn't come up out of the sky. They're here for a reason. Listen to it. Okay, y'all. But you know, upbeat, positive. Man, is there a song that gets you to that inner peace? Like if you need to go to music, because music is therapy. Is there a song?
So therapeutic. Intuition by Aya the Light.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Play that for the audience. But is there now, you know, wrapping it up, is there a message you want to leave the audience in regards to inner peace?
Inner peace. What I would say is surrender. Believe it or not, it sounds easy. And it is easy. It's really as easy as it sounds, but it's hard because we're so used to being in control. When I say surrender, meaning trust whoever your higher power may be, whether it's God, the universe, the divine spirit, whatever name, choice word you want to get it, but something greater than you. When you surrender and let go of trying to control all the moving parts, when you get out of your own way, that's when you have peace. And you have it, no matter what you're going through, peace will be there because you have already allowed something greater than you to take care of everything for you. That's it.
Yeah, like going like God. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I definitely feel like your messages will help so many people, honestly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, inner peace, liberation. I feel like inner peace feels freeing. It is freedom. I feel like the whole point of this season, I feel like I'll say it all summed up to freedom to me. That's what led me to, I'll say, this topic. So what does inner peace and freedom look like to you?
Inner peace for me is, in modern day terms, standing on business. Doing what it is that I know needs to be done for myself and for my family, and not shying away from it. But it also comes with, like fighting temptations, fighting things that you want to do versus doing what you need to do. But inner peace to me is, like really, really focusing and dialing down on myself and progressing and elevating throughout my life. Just trying to constantly stay focused, because you never know what can happen. Your goal can be set out to do this, that, and the third for you to get to this next level. But if you stay focused, you will get to where you want to, and it's going to give you this newfound of excitement and this joy that you just never seem to feel like you ever had before.
Yeah.
So
it is a feeling. I feel like it's like something you never felt before, but it's freeing too. And like you said too, staying focused in that inner peace, it helps you, I'll say, be able to navigate life challenges. Like when something that comes in your way to distract you, if you have that inner peace, you'll be able to easily navigate, I'll say that. And inner peace also looks like self-care, and I'll say music, because music therapy.
Yeah, it is. Unless you're outside being Future toxic. Shout out to Future.
But is there a song like, when you feel like, okay, I'm getting knocked off my square, you know what I'm saying? What is a song that, keeps you in that state of feeling free and getting focused and
A certain song, I won't say like I have a certain song. I mean, I'm pretty sure I do. I have to look through like iTunes or whatever. But for me personally, like it's certain music, like I'll listen to gospel sometimes to like remind me of what my goal is and where I'm trying to get to. I'll say, to give a specific song, when I'm in the gym and I'm like, you know what, I'm about ready to go home now. Hey, I'm tired of this already. I will real life listen to "Let's Go" by Young Dolph and Key Glock. Recipes to Dolph. But I'll listen to it because it's just like a, come on, let's go. Like, come on. I'm not listening specifically to everything he's saying because Dolph and them talking about something else, but just
the concept, let's go.
Yeah, the chorus is more like, come on, let's go. And I'll just say, I'll remember what am I here for and why am I doing this? And then it's like, all right, okay, come on. Hey, just give me 10 more seconds, do one more rep, come on, 5 more push-ups, like let's just get to it and just stay focused. And then once I'm done, I'll feel accomplished. And then by the end of the day, because if I don't do it, the day goes by and I'll sit back and think like, dang, I could have just did that for 1 hour and knocked it out. Now I feel unaccomplished. But yeah, when I do just go ahead and get right to it and knock it out, I'm good. I feel good. I have that inner peace with myself. Like, we got today done. Let's worry about tomorrow now. How we gonna do this tomorrow?
So I'll say, if there's a message you want to leave the audience in regards to that inner peace, the liberation, just, that feeling of being focused and in tune with yourself, what would you leave the audience?
Love thyself. Love yourself. Accept your wrongs, accept your rights, accept your things that you don't like about yourself. Love yourself, because the minute you accept you and you start worrying about you and you love you, everything is going to start changing around you. Stop hating, stop thinking that, oh, if I do this, or, and no shade to anybody, if I get this one more surgery, it'll make me look like this, or whatever it is that you're dealing with in your mind. Just love yourself, because you don't really understand how dope you is as a person. You may hate yourself, but then you have a best friend that just loves and adores the hell out of you. Why do they? Why do they love and adore you? Because they know the real you. So just love yourself and find that inner peace.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we go, I just want to pause and say thank you. Thank you to my guests who showed up with their full, honest selves. And thank you for listening, for choosing truth again and again. This episode, it reminded me that so many of us are still holding on to grief, grief that we've never named, grief over loss of time, over seasons spent chasing approval, over jobs that drained us, over relationships that made us question our worth. But I need you to know, peace is still possible, even if you've been broken or you felt like you were broken. Because I'm here to tell you, you are not broken. You've never been broken. And even if you make mistakes, even if your truth looks like you're the villain in someone else's story, you're not the villain in your story. I've been saying that. Like, sometimes that's what it looks like. But even if you've been told you have to earn rest, you don't. You are worthy of peace now, which gets us into our last song, Summer Walker, Finding Peace.
Losing people, finding peace. If I gotta choose what.
I love this song because I just said this in my at my book launch, which you guys will see a little bit of it next week. But a lot of times when we hear it's lonely at the top, or when they say you forgot where you came from, a lot of us think that it's when you got money. And I'm like, here's the thing. It's not lonely at the top when you got money, I'll say. Because anybody and everybody is going to be in your face expecting a handout. We know that. When you get money, it's never a dull moment. You're never really at peace because everybody is around you. And also, you don't forget who you are because they're not going to let you. They're going to always remind you, oh, but you came from here and you did this. Where it's lonely at the top, it's when you vibrating and operating in your higher frequency. And I'm just going to say it. When you are, I'm going to say, more in alignment with your mind, body, soul, because it's lonely. And this is why I picked this song, because the more you find peace, you're going to lose people. And it's just the truth. And so it becomes very lonely when you're working on yourself and you are actually doing the work and you know it because you feel that peace, that inner peace. And not only that, it comes with gratitude and appreciation just for living. Nothing else, not for where you work, not for how much money you got, just for breathing. And that's my hope for all of you guys. But when you're in this place of light, and that's why you're at the top and floating, don't nobody want to be around you because, like I said, sometimes a lot of people may look like the villain in your story. And when you're operating at a higher frequency or vibrating on a higher frequency or whatever you want to call it, or you're just healing, people don't want to be around you because you are a mirror, like you're walking truth, because I own my truth. And also, they don't want you to remember who you are. And you do forget who you are. And you start to remember. And you remember all the hurt people have caused you in your life. And how many times you forgave people over and over. And they don't want you to remember that either. Because they see your light. They see the blessings. And they always going to want to be around. So they don't want you to remember. And it has nothing to do with money, because you cannot give people money and they're still going to be around just by what you can offer mentally, physically, spiritually, especially spiritually. They know you walking in God's light, but let me y'all know I just be talking, but peace is a practice. It's not a destination. Just like life is a practice. I'm going to say, yeah, just like life is a practice, and that is the destination for all of us, but I don't know. And once you reach the destination, you can never revisit it. Your life is over. And not just like, did you live the best life that you wanted to? Like, did you do everything you said you wanted to? Because when death comes, you can't really ask those questions. It's over. So ask them now. Are you doing everything in this life that you want to do? And if not, start doing it. I mean, I think it's kind of easy. Yes, here it's easier said than done. It is. Just do it. Like Nike said, I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, it's the choice to say no, even when yes pays more. Yes, it's the choice to say no, even when yes pays more. Because that's what I say. I don't really care about, honestly, I could be making so much more money. But here's the thing. Sometimes saying yes does come with more stress and more, I'll say, headache and more anxiety, more depression. And that's why sometimes you got to say no to certain opportunities and certain things that present to you. And that's why I say money cannot buy happiness or peace. It can buy some temporary things, but it's not going to be lasting long term. And just having the courage to rest, even when you feel guilty for it. It's the discipline to stop chasing and start trusting, because I trust God and everything in my life is working out exactly how I want. Plus, I'll say even better. And I'll say this too. We talk a lot about generational wealth, but I also want us to build generational peace. Let your children see what it looks like to rest on purpose. Let your lineage inherit balance, not just burnout. And as I close, I want to ask you, what's your peace worth? If you had to choose today between looking rich or feeling whole, what would you pick? Because God didn't create you just to work and worry. God created you to live, to feel, to breathe, to be free. So start today, right now. Okay. Start by choosing one small moment of peace today and every day for the rest of your life. Turn off your phone, step outside, barefoot in the grass. I don't know. Say the prayer if that's what you need. Play the song because y'all know music therapy. Paint. Take your soul off the clock. And don't forget this. You're not behind. You're becoming. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to protect your peace. So until next time, take care of your energy, take care of your values, and most of all, take care of you.